Just wanted to make a quick video as to how I went about registering my bus in Vermont. There's a couple videos on YouTube showing how to register cars or motorcycles and whatnot. I kind of based everything off that. Sorry, back. I needed a pen. So yeah, there's a guy on YouTube. He's called like Busaroo or Subaru guy or something like that, and he explains it pretty well. It was kind of tricky because that was only for motorcycles or cars, and on some pages that had been like Skoolie Nation or Skoolie.net or something like that, somebody did it a different way. I didn't follow theirs because I didn't think it was what I needed to. But basically, the things you will need is the first form, which is the Vermont registration tax and title application. The second form you'll need is the bill of sale and odometer disclosure statement. And then if you were like us, you would also need the vanity plates application, which is basically if you want a custom plate saying whatever it is that you want to say, and I'll explain that in just a second. But basically, really quickly, let's go over the bill of sale, because that's an important one. Pretty self-explanatory. It says we, so the seller's name is what it says, or the company who's selling it. For me, my title just said School District of Brush in Colorado, so I just put that information. Basically, whatever the title says, you just kind of put it down, and then it's going to ask you for the year, the make, the model, and then the body. For my bus, it was a 3800, so I just put 3800. For model, I just put international. I'm sorry. Year was 1991, make was international, model was 3800, and then for here, for body, what you want to make sure you put is you put motorhome, because that's what you want to title it as, aka an RV, and then you put whatever color you want, and then ignore the vessel part, and then you just put the VIN number, and then what the odometer reads, and then make sure you hit miles or kilometers, whatever, hours, whatever it is that it says on it, and then you'll put the new owner's name, which will be your name. And then if you're registering it, my wife and I registered it both under our names, so we put both ours. And then you sign the date, and then you put whatever it is that they sold it for to you guys. For us, we went through a bidding auction online from Purple Wave, so they gave us, you know, the printed, I forgot what it's called, the PO or whatever, and it said exactly how much it was. Then you pretty much sign it, date it, and that's it. And then you just, the seller's signature is all you need here. If you don't have that, no big deal. If you have a bill of sale, I'm sure it'll still work, like from another place. Or if you have the title signed, it'll still work. And then you put the seller's address, the phone number if you have it, and then you put your information, buyer, you know, your signature, and then, you know, if somebody else is co-registering it with you, have them sign here. The buyer's address, which would be your personal address. Doesn't matter where you live. You can still register your bus out of state, whether you live in Connecticut or you live in California or in Texas. It doesn't matter. You can still do it. And then your phone number. And then you won't cross any of these out unless your bus is salvaged, rebuilt, or declared as a total loss. But at that point, I don't know who would want to buy that bus. And then here, same thing, you just put the vehicle information again, and then what the odometer is reading, and then seller's information, and that's pretty much it. And then, you know, and obviously you put it reflects actual mileage. If you don't know the mileage, then put reflects the mileage exceeds the odometer mechanical limits or whatever. Or this is not the actual mileage. Whatever, it's up to you. Once you're done filling that out, and if you can get the buyer to sign this before you buy their bus, even better. If not, no big deal, regular bill of sale will work. Now you come here, and this is your registration form. So basically you're gonna mark the vehicle owned. You'll just circle it if you're hand filling it out, or if it's online, there's a way to check it. You put your name. You just ignore this. You put your address where you get your mail, so wherever you want to get your mail, and the city and the state. And then over here you put your email address, your phone number. Now for Vermont license plate, or for Vermont's license number, just leave that blank. They'll assign it to you. And then this is where you actually live. We put ours as both, and then, you know, made it that. And then fill out whether you're male or female, your date of birth. Same thing for whoever is co-signing with you or co-registering with you. And same thing, leave the Vermont license blank. Now, it'll ask you if you're joint tenants, comments, or whatever you want. I just put mine as spouse. And then for section 3A, you just leave that completely blank because there's no liens on it. 3B, this is basically, again, if you wanted to just have the seller sign it here, you can have this signed by the seller. If not, leave it blank. Just put their information, put the date of purchase, ignore the VT dealer number, and then you come down here to section 4, and in section 4, what you do is you put new registration because you're registering it new. Ignore the plate number and expires, ignore that. So then you come over to here, and it's going to ask you what kind of registration / plate type. What you do here is you go to other. You can't see other, but if you were on your computer, you'd be able to see it. So if you go to the back of this, you look for what is called motorhome, and then it says motorhome in 19. So that's the code that you're then going to put on this sheet of paper. So you're going to put motorhome and then number 19 right here. And then you're going to put out, again, the make, model, the year, the body type, put motorhome or RV, but I would put motorhome. Put the color. If you're not sure of the color, we put ours as white because the roof of our bus is white, but it ended up being green. No big deal. I'm sure you can change it if you need to, or if you get pulled over by the cops, you can explain what happened. I don't think it's a huge deal. You just put the mileage and then cross or check miles. Put the VIN and then put used, number of cylinders, depending on how many. Some people have V8, some people have straight 6s. Just put number of cylinders. For here, just put diesel unless you have a gas. Then you put a gas. Now this is where on Skoolie.net they said that they filled out things. I would just completely avoid this part because you're not a truck, you're a motorhome. You don't need to fill this out. They don't need to know how many axles you have. They don't need to know your weight, because if you do on the instructions, it starts to get more pricey. I didn't do it. We got our temporary plates. I don't know how it's going to work for our regular plates. So far, it hasn't given me any troubles. Ignore the trailer part, the cycle, or the Genity, or whatever it's called. You know, this for motorcycles, some people had questions about motorcycles. It's pretty much the same thing. To find your code, just go to the instruction sheet and it'll tell you what code it is. Now here's where you have to be careful, because if you mess this up and towards the end you mess this up, you're kind of screwed. So when you go to fill this out, it'll ask you for the purchase price. If you had, like us, a PO or something that states how much you actually ended up paying, put that in, like send them a copy of that, and then put that on your purchase price. So on the purchase price, let's say ours was $18.50, so put $18.50. Put NA or 0 for or credit for trade, and then for the NADA value, I've heard that it's impossible to know how much buses are worth, so just leave it blank. Adjustments, leave it blank, and that net taxable, you'll just basically put the same thing as the purchase price is down here. Just one second. Okay, I'm back. So once you do all this, I was trying to look for my other one that I filled out with the actual. So once you do that, whatever yours ends up being, put the price, and then the net taxable, that's what it's going to be able to be taxed off to. And then for registration, so if you come over here to the computer, I don't know if you can see this, for motorhomes, which is right here, you scroll over and it says if it's gas or diesel, then it's $76 for 1 year of registration, and if it's other fuels is more, but that's if you have other fuels. Now, if you want it for 2 years, which you could, I don't know, most people might just want to do it for a year, try it out, and then go to the next thing. We only did ours for a year for now. We're not sure what's going to happen from there. But from there, if you were going to do 2 years, then it would be $140. So what you would do is, if you're doing only a year, then take the $76, and if you're doing the 2 years, take the $140. And so what you would do is you would come over here. Don't write on this because they don't want you writing on this. It says it here, do not write on the shaded areas. Registration, put, say only a year, put 76. Now, tax is 6% right now in Vermont. So what you would do is take your sale price of whatever it was, your purchase price. So ours was $18.15, and then do your little math. $18.15 times 0.006, and then whatever you get, that's what it'll be. The title, you're not retitling it, so you leave that blank. You're not transferring. The warranty, I don't know whether or not I had to pay for it. The guy online didn't, but then again, his form didn't have this. Ours did, so I just put it in the check anyway, because I didn't want them to send it back. That's what happens. If you fill out any of this incorrectly, what they'll either do is call you or email you, and then send everything back, including the check, and then you'll just have to readjust it and send it back to them. So I just said whatever, $6 extra, I really don't care. Fuel user, leave it blank. Other, leave it blank. And then what you do is you add up the warranty, the tax, and the registration fee, and then that's what you put on the total. Now this other part would be, I use this for the vanity plates. And vanity plates, I forgot what they were, I'll look them up in a second, but basically that's where you would put the vanity plates, the cost of them. So again, registration cost, which if it's for a year, $76, tax, which is whatever it is that you paid for the bus times 0.06, the warranty, plus the other if you do vanity plates or not, and then you just put the grand total here. Then you sign it, put the date, and then your co-owner signs it as well. And that's it for the registration form part of it. It's pretty self-explanatory, just other than don't put Vermont license number and just leave that blank. And for the plate part, leave it blank. You get 2 of these when you print it out. One is for you to keep, and the other one, the one that says Vermont, is the one you send to the Vermont DMV. Now, the vanity plate part. Pretty self-explanatory as well. Sorry for the crappy camera angles and moving around. Put your last name, your first name, your middle initials, license number, leave it blank again because you don't have one. No. They will issue you one. Your mailing address, your street address, your city, your state, and your zip code. Same thing for physical address as you did in the registration form. Just put the same address unless you have a different physical address from where you get your mail. Then put your email, your phone number, same thing. Your current plate, just leave it blank because you don't know what your current plate is because you're starting brand new. I just put NA, not applicable. And then same thing, make, model, year, body type. Again, put motorhome for body type. Put the VIN number. Now this part is where you have to make your decision. Our bus is called Small and Simple. We wanted to do our plate to be simple. So we did, we spelled out simple here. That was our first choice. Our second choice was tiny. And then our third choice was SS. Now, out of all those 3 choices, what we got approved for was for tiny. I'm not sure if it was because somebody else had simple or what the deal was. I'm not quite sure. But we were still happy with tiny. Maybe they didn't approve SS because there's something else or whatever. But basically, over here it explains, see instructions for restrictions. This is not valid document until your request is approved. Basically, if you want it centered, center it yourself, like on the plate, or if you want an asterisk or a space in between, just do it wherever you want. I didn't really care where they did it, so I just put simple, and then I did tiny, and then I did SS, so it probably would have just centered the SS, or the tiny might become centered, or there might be a space in between it. I'm not sure. We'll be happy with what we get. We're not really picky. I mean, this was a long shot. So far it's working out well, so I don't know. Now over here you just sign and then you date it. And that's pretty much it. And then just don't write below this. Again, it prints two. One's for your copy and the other one's for the DMV's copy. And then this will tell you pretty much what you can and cannot do. Now the cost for vanity plates, if I'm not mistaken, was just one second. Plate type. Vanity plates is an additional $48 annual fee. So if you go to renew next year, you'll have to pay the $76 on top of the $48 to renew. We thought it was pretty cheap, so we just did it because we wanted to be different than all the other plates, and we wanted to make sure that we knew which one was ours. But it's up to you guys. Not really sure. I mean, everything's pretty much self-explanatory. YouTube it if you don't believe me. This is not a scam. It's not a scheme. From what I gathered, this is actually better for Vermont because it's extra taxable income that they can bring into the state. You don't have to live in Vermont to be able to do this. You can live anywhere in the United States and be able to do this. You can do it all through the mail, and they'll be able to, you know, pretty much send it to you wherever. And then you just slap the plates on your car and go, or your Skoolie, or your motorcycle. But you don't title after 15 years, and if you want a title, there's a whole other form that I didn't even want to fill out because we didn't really care to title, because once you get your registration, the card is like this big. You flip it around. With that, you just take that to your local DMV and get it re-registered. Now, to send everything to the place you send it to is this address, which is the 120 State Street, and you just send it to them. You send them, whether or not you're doing your vanity plates, what you would send them is your bill of sale, if you have this bill of sale, or if you have the other bill of sale, send them that. If you have a title, I would send them only the copy of the title. Don't send them the original. And then what you do is in your registration form, a check. Make sure you have your insurance card. If you don't have insurance, I'm not sure how it works. I'm pretty sure you need to have insurance to be able to register it in Vermont. Your insurance card. I didn't send a copy of my license. I would suggest you would. I sent them. I was already at the post office by the time I realized it. And it was too late. I sent them a note saying, if you need a copy of my license emailed, please let me know or call me. I never heard from them. I just got these plates in the mail. And pretty much this is how it comes. It's going to be in a yellow envelope like this. And it's kind of weird because it feels like it can fall out. So you take it out. And this is going to be my temporary registration. And it says it because we did a vanity plate. It says, this confirms receipt of your application for the vanity plate tiny. So I'm assuming that's what it's, what it's going to give us is tiny. And then it just pretty much tells you the rest. And then actual plates will come in the same envelope, and sort of temporary plates just because we did vanity plates. Sorry for talking so much. Sorry for the super long video. I hope this helps people that are out there trying to register their Skoolies. They don't inspect them like in other states. They won't give you a runaround. I mean, this is pretty much self-explanatory. We bought the bus 2 weeks ago. As soon as I got home with the bus, I filled all this paperwork out on a Sunday night. Woke up on Monday, threw everything in the mail, and I mean, I checked my mail this morning, but I got here on another Monday, so it's pretty much straightforward. I mean, we have plates until November 27th, which is awesome. So now we can legally drive because we were illegally driving. But anyways, if you have any questions, just message me on Facebook or ask me, and I'll be happy to answer them. Good luck, guys. Thanks.